out on Apple TV was something that I'm gonna let Zag take away because I caught the first half of this and I realized this isn't going anywhere. One of the weirdest rollouts for a movie
Hmm.
because it starts before we even knew about this movie. But Antoine Fuqua has a new film out. One of the greatest directors, in my opinion, one of the most contemporary directors that we have now, who's been able to really move a lot of genres, thriller genres forward, coming in with what he's not even considering a slavery movie. Some interesting behind the scene quotes from this film, including stuff that's in the producer's pocket. But Will Smith comes back with Emancipation, a 2 hour and something movie that's sitting on Apple TV Plus right now. They did not give this one to us early. Some people did have it. There was even screenings. But Apple said, no, 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 no. We're going to make sure that this one isn't in anyone's account who may have mentioned bad stuff about the Oscars last year. It is out for everybody now. And like I said, I only caught half. It felt like, you remember Birth of a Nation? I ended up seeing someone mention this too, so I'm glad that I'm not alone. But it felt like the remake to Birth of a Nation, and somehow lesser. You saw the whole thing, Zach. Tell me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's frustrating because there are elements here that I appreciated. I mean, um, I've seen a lot of people say that they think the film looks ugly. I don't mind the
I think it looks
desaturated color palette. Um,
terrible.
it at least makes women talking look a little bit
Thank you.
more vivacious.
Thank you.
But I personally don't mind it. That being said, like the rest of the film around it, there's just like, even though like the production design is excellent, I think Will Smith is like doing he's clearly like putting in a decent amount of effort into the film. I think they don't
Sure.
give him enough character to have like a full role here. It really is like slavery epic as survival torture, right? Like this is a movie that's less about the institution of slavery or the psychological toll that it would take on an individual as it
Yes.
is about like how difficult it must be to survive in the wilderness when dogs are chasing you and when you have to fight a CGI alligator. It's kind of like Will Smith's The Revenant or something. And
This is
I don't
taking
know.
the words out of my mouth, bro.
It's yeah, it's just like I think that we've had other films that have dealt with the idea of slavery that have gone into the brutality of it and maybe done it better. You know, I think about a film that I think is one of the better films to depict slavery in Steve McQueen's 12 Years a Slave. And that's a film that does not shy away from the brutality and from the uncomfortable just experience of it all. But it also is a film that is more concerned with the totality of a person and the thoughts of these individuals and the psychological uh you know torture that they're going through rather than just the physical
Yep.
torture. And I just found Emancipation to ultimately be a little bit too one note. I feel like my rating on Letterboxd at 2 stars is maybe a little bit harsh for a film that's mostly watchable and decently well put together. But I just found it to be a little bit hollow by the end. And especially when you're forced to sit with it for over 2 hours, it's like it's a lot of pain for not a lot of reward at the end.
I feel you completely. The film we were mentioning earlier, or that I had brought up, was The Birth of a Nation, a movie that has its own
Yeah.
problems, but at least had the approach that it felt this movie was going for. If anything, I would recommend something that I felt went under the radar for a lot of people when it's just sitting on Prime. Something actually shot beautifully well,
Oh yeah.
casted well, and approaches the story in a way where it may not be something that you want to title it a slavery movie because this is a series where you actually follow a survivor. That's I feel what they were trying to pitch Emancipation as, and it just feels like the emancipation of Will Smith trying to get back into the good graces of everybody is how the
Yeah.
movie's gonna I feel end up being perceived at the end of it all. But
Yeah.
Emancipation, all 132 minutes of it out on Apple TV Plus. It's there.
Yeah.
So
It
we'll leave it
exists.
there with that one. And move on to some other stuff over on AMC Plus, an app that I'm still pretty new with. It combines IFC, all the AMC stuff.